what about the Ice Age? When did the Ice Age actually occur in the young Earth creation model? Well, the short answer is, it took place right after the flood, as humanity began to rebuild. This is the reason we find people migrated to the south into India, Australia, Africa, Egypt, and the Middle East. These were the warm places on Earth. Anywhere to the north was inhospitable and very harsh, thus not populated much until the Ice Age began to end. The long answer to that is what we're going to get into right now. At the beginning stages of the flood, the Earth cracked like an eggshell, thus creating what we see today as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge that goes around the Earth. When this happened, the continental shelf broke, and the weight of the continents now coming down pressed the water that was then locked up underneath them out onto the surface of the world. This is why the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is now over 8,500 feet high on average, and became the divergent plate boundary we now have today. It was at this time that not only water came out, but chemicals and sediments, including the chemicals that formed limestone, that was changing from a liquid to a solid as these layers were forming. This is why we find limestone in many different layers, including the top layer, such as we find in the Grand Canyon. If it really formed slowly over millions of years, there is no reason for it to be on the top, where it is the most concentrated out of all the layers today, because it would have taken hundreds of millions of years to naturally make and form this limestone, which could have only been created in shallow water from coral in the evolutionary model. It was at this time, at the end of the flood, when the pre-existing continental shelves came into contact with one another. This created not only the mountains such as the Himalayas, but also creating new subduction zones around the world. This made volcanoes, and why we find the vast majority of volcanoes along the coast at these subduction zones. This is what made the row of volcanoes known today as the Ring of Fire, consisting of 75% of all volcanoes on Earth. It was because of these newly formed volcanoes all erupting that created massive amounts of ash in the upper atmosphere that started the Ice Age. This is why we see the iridium layer, called the KT boundary, the way we do. It never formed from a meteor impact that killed the dinosaurs. This is why we find the distribution of iridium the way we do, and why it matches wind patterns and not impact patterns. The evidence for what we see in the world today matches the young Earth creation model perfectly, and explains the reasons why the evolutionary model has problem after problem.